Last month, her car broke down. $800. She didn't panic. She didn't call her parents. She didn't lie awake, running numbers, wondering which bill to delay. She just handled it. Paid the repair, refilled her emergency fund, moved on with her week like nothing had happened. She doesn't think she's getting rich. She makes decent money, drives a normal car, hasn't been on a real vacation in almost 2 years. Nothing about her life looks impressive from the outside. But she's wrong about herself. Because that quiet, undramatic moment in a mechanic's parking lot is one of the clearest signs that wealth is already building in her life. Silently, invisibly, on a scoreboard she doesn't even know she's winning. Here's what nobody talks about. There are 2 scoreboards running alongside every financial life. The first one is visible, the apartment upgrades, the new car, the vacation photos. It looks great, and it costs everything. The second one is invisible. Nobody posts about it, but it's the only one that determines whether you're actually building wealth. And right now, without even realizing it, you might already be winning on it. Here are 5 signs that you are. Sign 1. Your life feels financially uneventful. Picture a Saturday night. Your friends are posting from a rooftop bar. Someone just booked a last-minute flight, and you're home doing nothing particularly exciting. Somewhere in the back of your mind, there's this quiet feeling that you're missing something everyone else seems to be living. Here's what's actually happening. You've stopped using money to manufacture excitement. You've stopped buying experiences just to fill a silence or to feel like life is moving. Most people don't spend carelessly because they're irresponsible. They spend because spending creates a feeling, and they've learned to chase that feeling. When you stop chasing it, your money starts building something real instead. Stability doesn't feel exciting. It feels like less chaos, less pressure, less noise. And over time, that boring stability becomes the foundation everything else gets built on. That quiet Saturday you're almost embarrassed by, that's a point on your invisible scoreboard. Most people will spend it instead. Sign 2. A surprise expense doesn't destroy your month. Think about the version of yourself 2 or 3 years ago. Same unexpected car repair, same $800. What would that have meant back then? A panicked call to someone you owe a favor. A credit card that takes months to pay down. A week of low-grade anxiety about every other bill. Now, it's annoying. Maybe it interrupts your weekend, but it doesn't spiral. You handle it, refill what you spent, and move forward. That difference is what an emergency fund actually buys you. Not just financial protection, emotional protection. It creates space between the problem and your reaction. And that space is where rational decisions get made instead of panicked ones. The real dividing line between being financially stuck and building real wealth isn't whether problems happen. Problems happen to everyone. The dividing line is whether every problem becomes a crisis. When small things stay small, that low-level fear that one surprise could knock everything over starts to quietly fade. And that is an early version of wealth, even if your balance doesn't show it yet. Every dollar sitting in your emergency fund is buying you something most people can't afford at all. Space, another point on the scoreboard. Sign 3, you know your numbers. 2 people, same income. One checks their account only when they're worried a card might decline. The other spends about 10 minutes every Sunday looking at where things stand, not out of anxiety, but out of attention. Like a gardener checking on something they're trying to grow. A year later, their financial lives look nothing alike. You cannot improve what you refuse to look at. Most people avoid their numbers because looking feels uncomfortable, like confirming something they'd rather not know. But avoiding them doesn't make things better. It just means you lose the ability to steer. People who are quietly building wealth pay attention. They know their rough net worth. They know about how much they're saving each month. They have a general sense of where the money is going and whether things are moving in the right direction. And that awareness changes everything because the behavior of paying attention shows up long before the big balance does. Knowing your numbers isn't a sign that you're obsessed with money. It's a sign that money is no longer something you're afraid of. That shift is a point on the scoreboard that most people never earn. Sign 4. You say no to things you could technically afford. You were looking at a new phone. You had the money. You'd even opened the checkout tab. Then you closed it, not because you couldn't afford it. Because you stopped and asked yourself a question most people never think to ask. Does this actually move me closer to the life I want? And the answer was not right now. Saying no when you can't afford something is restriction. Saying no when you can afford it is discipline. And that is a completely different level. Restriction is about limits. Discipline is about direction. The pause between wanting something and deciding whether to buy it is a skill. And every time you use it, you get better at choosing your future over your present impulse. Here's the reframe that changes everything. Saying no to the wrong things isn't self-denial. It's self-respect. It's the version of yourself that decided the long game matters more than the short hit. Every closed checkout tab, every skipped upgrade, every not right now, those are points on the invisible scoreboard. Earned one quiet decision at a time. Sign 5. Your savings rate is growing with your income. 2 people get the same raise, $500 more a month. The first person upgrades their apartment, starts eating out a little more, picks up a few new subscriptions. Nothing dramatic, just a natural, comfortable expansion. Within 3 months, the extra $500 has completely disappeared into a more expensive version of the same life. The second person quietly moves $200 of it straight to savings before they even see it. Doesn't announce it, doesn't feel heroic about it, just does it. 1 year later, their financial trajectories look nothing alike, and the gap between them will only keep widening. This is what lifestyle creep actually costs you. Not just the money you spend, but the compound growth on money you never invested. Because here's what most people miss. It's not the dollar amount you save that matters most. It's the percentage. If your savings rate climbs as your income, climbs even by a few points, the gap between what you earn and what you spend becomes a wealth engine. And when that engine runs long enough, something shifts. The money you've saved starts earning money on its own. The gap stops just growing and starts accelerating, quietly, in the background, while your life looks completely normal. If your savings rate is growing with your income, your invisible scoreboard isn't just gaining points. It's compounding them. Remember her? The one with the broken down car and the $800 repair she barely thought twice about? She still doesn't feel rich. Her life still looks ordinary from the outside. Same car, same apartment, still skipping the vacations she sees everyone else taking. But the scoreboard doesn't care how she feels. The math is already running. And it's running in her favor. If you recognize yourself in any of these 5 signs: the quiet Saturdays, the handled emergencies, the numbers you actually know, the purchases you chose not to make, the savings rate that's slowly climbing, then the same is true for you. Your life may not look rich yet, but your behavior is starting to match someone who builds wealth. And that always comes first. Pick one thing this week, check your net worth. Increase your automatic savings by 1%. Say no to one purchase that doesn't move you forward. You don't have to overhaul everything. You just have to keep going. If this video helped you see progress you didn't realize you were making, subscribe. Because most of what's working in your financial life is invisible, and it helps to have someone point it out. When you're ready, The next video covers the quiet habits that make real wealth almost inevitable. I'll see you there.